Hey triathletes, Coach Joby here from FC Endurance, and today we're diving into an incredible story of transformation. I want you to meet Trevor. He's a dedicated Ironman triathlete who made huge leaps in his performance. We're talking about going from an 11:40 finish to multiple 9:20s and eventually qualifying for the Ironman World Championships in Kona. How did he do it? Well, stick around because I'm going to walk you through Trevor's journey and what we did differently and how you can apply these training lessons to your own training. So Trevor completed his first Ironman at Ironman Maryland. He had a solid swim, a strong bike, but then things kind of fell apart for him on the run. What started out as a run quickly turned into a shuffle, and before long he was run walking. His marathon time ended up being a 4:56, and his total finish time was 11 hours and 40 minutes. Now don't get me wrong, finishing your first Ironman is an amazing achievement, and Trevor was definitely stoked, but here's the thing, he wanted more. He knew that he had the fitness to go faster, and he was determined to tap into that potential. About 5 months after Ironman Maryland, Trevor reached out to FC Endurance, and he told me his ultimate goal was to qualify for the Ironman World Championships in Kona, and he wanted to see how much faster he could go. So we got to work. We did a deep dive into his physiology, and right away we suspected that the bike was playing a bigger role in his run struggles than we initially thought. We ran some tests, and sure enough, Trevor's VO2 max was solid, but his VLA max was really high. In fact, too high. Now, if you're not familiar with VLA max, here's a quick version of it. It's a measure of your glycolytic capacity. Basically, how much you rely on quick energy, like carbs, versus fat for endurance efforts. The higher your VLA max is, the more explosive and the more powerful you are. This can actually be a big problem for long distance events like Ironman. Why? Because it drains your glycogen stores way too quickly. So Trevor's VLA max was a 0.55, which is considered really high for Ironman racing. And that's what was happening in Maryland. His body was burning through carbs too fast on the bike, basically left him little fuel for the run. And that's why he hit the wall so early and so hard in the marathon at Maryland. So what do? First thing, we focused on bringing down Trevor's VLA max. The goal was to have him ride at the same power output, but at a much lower carbohydrate demand, more in his fat max zone, where he would burn through a combination of fat and carbs instead of relying primarily just on quick burning carbs. This way he could ride longer at a steady effort without depleting his energy stores too soon, so he could have more for the run. And we knew that improving his run economy was key, so we made some adjustments to that. First, we slowed down his easy pace so he could run at a lower heart rate and conserve more energy and become a little bit more efficient. We also worked on his cadence. Now, I'm not saying that there's like a perfect cadence for everyone, but a slight increase can help improve running efficiency, running economy. So over the years, we found that a small bump in cadence can make a big difference in overall efficiency and performance on race day. Of course, we still included some speed work, but the real focus was on dialing in the bike and really bringing down his VLA max. This was going to be the foundation for everything else, and it was going to lead to a faster overall race, and we knew that going into his buildup. So if we fast forward to Ironman Arizona, Trevor was ready. Okay, if we take a look at the data, we can see how far he had come. We dropped Trevor's VLA max from a 0.55 to a 0.35. That's a significant reduction, and we did all of this through endurance ride, big gear intervals, and sub-threshold training. And that made a massive difference in his reduction of VLA max. So if you take a look at this, at how it translates to his power, at a power output of 210 watts, Trevor went from burning 110 grams of carbs per hour to just 71 grams per hour. That's a huge decrease in energy demand, which meant he could go longer, harder, and more efficiently. And the best part, he could still get off and run well. Trevor's fueling plan was to take in about 90 grams per hour, which gave him a solid buffer to get off the bike without being in any sort of deficit going into the run. So with these changes, we knew Trevor was in for a big race. He had the bike dialed in, his run was ready to go. The result? Trevor absolutely crushed it. His total finish time went from 11:40 to 9:25. His bike was faster, but his run time dropped from a 4:56 all the way down to a 3:28, which is a massive improvement. So if we had only focused on his run without addressing what was happening on the bike, this improvement wouldn't have been possible. The changes we made on the bike had a massive impact on his run performance. This was the game changer for Trevor. But Trevor wasn't done. His ultimate goal was to still qualify for Kona. So 5 months later, he raced Ironman Texas, finishing in 9:25 again, and he earned his spot to the Ironman World Championships. And then later that year, when Trevor raced in Kona, he had an impressive finish with a finishing time of 9:32, which is amazing for your first Kona debut. Mission accomplished, Trevor. Well done. Now here's the takeaway for you. If you want to improve your Ironman or your half Ironman performance, it's not just about putting in more hours of swimming, biking, and running. It's really about understanding your physiology and finding out what you need to optimize your performance. You'll never regret digging deeper into the science of your training. So if you think the approach we use with Trevor sounds like something that could help you hit your goals, let's chat. I'd love to hear about your background and what you're aiming for in your next race. So book a call and let's see if we can make your next season your best one yet. I'll catch you next time and keep on crushing it out there.